Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Jerome. I'm the founder of Ascend and Mindbox Studios. I'm also the program director of Redefining Women in Tech, and I work with Eugene Regional Accelerator here on the Fireside Founder Chat and other event programming. Today I'm interviewing Julia Butts. She is a student at the Lundquist College for Entrepreneurship at the University of Oregon and the founder of a startup called NoteShift. NoteShift is a hardbound printed journal solution for the growing number of travelers who have moved to journaling on their phones. So we're going to talk to Julia a little bit today and hear about her journey and what's inspired NoteShift to become what it is today. So, hey Julia, how are you doing today?
Doing well, how are you?
Doing great. So I guess for starter, I wanted to understand what, in your past growing up helped encourage you to take the entrepreneurial path. Like, do you have a history of that in your family, or how did it become interesting to you?
Yeah, so my mom, ever since I can remember, was always thinking of different inventions, and she was telling me them all the time. I think that's what really got me excited about being an entrepreneur. I was like, I didn't think how many ideas there were and how much potential there was for starting something. So that got me excited. My best friend in high school helped his dad a lot with his businesses, and he came to the U.S. when he was 22 from Russia, and he didn't go to college, and he started 2 here and 2 in Russia, and they're all super successful. That got me really excited, and I was just watching him and realizing if you put in enough work, then you can do anything. So
that's awesome. So
yeah.
What year are you at University of Oregon?
I'm a freshman.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I met Julia earlier this year at Startup Weekend. So, and I heard that you actually, the idea for NoteShift started before that. Can you tell us a little bit about the journey when it became more than just an idea and some of the programs that you've been in since you started it?
Yeah, for sure. So I thought of it in October. I was in Seattle, and I was in a bookstore, and I was looking around, and I realized, because I always used to write my notes or anything in my notes app on my phone, and I liked it. It was convenient, but as I just really missed having an actual object, and so then that's when I thought of the idea. And a couple weeks after that, I heard of it was Startup Week's elevator pitch competition, and I didn't even know what an elevator pitch was until I heard about the email, and then the day after was the deadline for the application. So I quickly looked up how to do a pitch, and I turned it in, and I ended up getting second place. And I didn't realize that this idea was something that other people liked too. So that got me excited, and I was like, I think there's actually some potential here. So after that, I did Startup Weekend, which is at Rain, and basically it pushes you to create an entire business model, and you give a 5-minute pitch. So that really helped me, work with a team, because we all got put into teams, and it helped me. I think it helped a lot with public speaking and further understanding everything that goes into a business. Because before, I just kind of assumed you have the idea, you just start it. So that helped a lot. After that, I did Ideate, which was also here. And that's where we created executive summaries and worked with mentors and further developed the idea. And they gave, contrasting opinions to maybe, other ways you could go with the business. That was super beneficial. I learned so much. I think before I didn't think through the business well enough, and I didn't know all of the little details behind it that I really needed, so that helped a bunch. From there was QuackHatch, which was another pitching competition. That was a 5-minute pitching competition. I entered that, and I ended up getting second place, and then I got a grant for Inventor, which is in May, and that's another competition which will help develop a patent for your idea, and it will, if you win, you get money for more funding for it.
Wow, that's incredible. I am definitely not trying to dig on the education that I got in engineering school, but to have that much real-world business experience in your first year of undergraduate is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was not expecting it at all. I did not know.
It's immersive learning.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, that's great. So, so you're basically at this point preparing for Inventor again and kind of getting things ready for that.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm currently working on my website, and I got my domain, and I'm just doing more research into what the actual market, needs this solution.
And so how does this factor into the rest of your schoolwork? Is this part of your schoolwork to work on your startup at Lundquist, or do you have is this just another thing among all the homework and the other things you're trying to do?
I would say a little of both. It has helped me actually in some of my classes because I've learned some of the definitions in my econ classes. I'm like, oh, well, I know that now because of the different things I've done for my business. But it's definitely just an add-on to everything else. But
cool.
I'm fine with it. I think it's cool to balance everything.
So what is it about journaling that's so inspiring to you? It sounds like it's something that you've done for a long time and you continue to do, but it's kind of transformed over the years. What does it, why is it so important to you?
So I think because my family also, my mom's a writer and my sister is amazing at English. That's always just been around me my entire life. And I think, I'm a very competitive person. So when I knew that they were really good at it, I was like, okay, well, I want to start journaling and writing stuff down, get better. And so it turned into me writing poems every single night. And I honestly don't know how it got to this point, but I think it was a mix of me being competitive and then realizing that I actually had a really big passion for it, and I love it.
Because you said you write poetry pretty much every day, is that?
Yeah, every single night before I go to bed.
Wow, that's a great discipline to have. Do you find that helps you throughout your, staying balanced with your courses and things like that?
Yeah, because so it started junior year. We had a project in one of my psychology classes where we had to do something that would benefit our well-being, and we had to reflect on it at the end of the year. So my idea was to have basically write a poem every single night before I went to bed, and also write the 3 factors that influenced my mood the most that day, and the poem would be reflective of those 3 factors or how I was feeling. And then at the end of the year, I'd look at all the poems and I'd be like, oh, how did my mood shift and what factors caused it to shift?
Wow.
And then I didn't want to stop because I was learning so much about myself, so I just kept doing it, and I still do it to this day.
That's interesting. Sounds like NoteShift V2, where you're analyzing, where people are out psychologically. That's awesome. Cool. So let's see. We talked a little bit about your journey. So when you were evaluating schools to go to, did you know you wanted to go to U of O, or did you have other schools that you were evaluating in the process?
There were many other schools. U of O was probably 3rd on my list, I would say, but I applied to 8 schools. And I got into all of them. Most of them were in California, and because I love the warm weather, and I just really wanted, I wanted a private school in the beginning, but I toured, University of San Diego and Chapman. Those were my main ones, and I just did not click. It just did not vibe with me, and I went here, and I don't know, I felt a sense of environment, way more than the other places, and I know I want to live in California when I'm older, so I thought maybe staying here for 4 more years wouldn't be so bad. The business program here is insane. I didn't realize how many opportunities there were until I got here, but it's just insane. And I'm a part of the Lundquist Scholars Program. I think that's the main reason I chose here, because I didn't even apply for it. It's just this program they do where you have an extra class fall term of your freshman year, and it's to help you network with other people in the class for the rest of the 4 years. So that's been super beneficial for me, and I've made a lot of friends through that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Are some of those people, did some of those people come with you to Startup Weekend? It seems like you've, had some good connections there too that you knew from U of O.
Yeah, none of them were in Lundquist Scholars Program, but I went to South by Southwest the other week, and so that was super cool, and that was through U of O, and there was 3 kids from Lundquist Scholars that were there, so that was fun to see them there, and we all hung out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. So I guess, you're still early in your entrepreneurial journey and getting NoteShift off the ground, but is there anything that's surprised you about entrepreneurship or being a founder of a company?
Yeah, I didn't realize how much research went behind actually starting a business. I thought if you had an idea, I guess I watched too much Shark Tank or something, because I just saw it as such an easy step by step, like have the idea, like get a patent, and then make money. And so I didn't know any of like the small steps. So I think especially going to like, you know, Startup Weekend and things, I learned so many of the small details that I needed. And I know, you know, I realized that you need like 40 to 60 hours of research before you actually start it. You need to realize the actual market that needs the product that you're trying to give, and if the product you're giving is actually something people would benefit from, or if it's just something you want. So yeah, I did not realize being an entrepreneur was like as difficult and time consuming as it is.
So I imagine you've been out there talking to other people who journal in the process. Have you found a lot of similarities to the way that you do things, or what have you learned from your target customer?
So I've found that people who journal online do it more consistently because it's more convenient. And people who do it in books, it's really easy to just have it sit by like your bedside and then you never pick it up maybe for like a week.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's something I've noticed. I haven't met anyone who's done like the, you know, the format that I do for my writings, but everyone that I've seen, you know, writes about a page in their journal, and it's usually nighttime because that's when they're most emotional. So
interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds like an area that you could definitely become like, you know, a subject matter expert on journaling, how it relates to the psyche, and different ways to do it to like, you know, help with your success or meeting your personal goals. It seems like something that you're, you know,
Yeah.
it's a good fit for you.
Yeah, thank you. I would love to learn more about it too.
So if you weren't working on NoteShift and if you weren't at Lundquist for undergrad, what would you be doing? Like, what are your hobbies?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. If I wasn't an entrepreneur, or if I didn't want to become one, I think I would probably focus on the medical field, which is such a different like area. But most of high school, I wanted to be a surgeon, which is such like a far-fetched idea. But I was like, no, I can do it. And then, I mean, I'm pretty bad at memorizing like things like that. So I was like, I can't go into the med school. But I don't know. I still have like a huge passion for it, and I was thinking about the type of business I'd actually want to have when I'm older, like a big business. I think it would be amazing to have, you know, create like a new type of like surgical tool or something that actually incorporates the med field into business.
So like that'd be cool. So look out for Julia someday. She's going to be like the med entrepreneur.
That'd be great.
Bringing new innovation, maybe med tech. Yeah. Cool. Because I heard you said you were taking some coding classes too?
Yes.
So you have a lot of wide, varied interests, it seems.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about going into college, because I was like, I love so many things. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I applied for the business school when I got here, and I just like, I think it also has to do with like me being competitive, like I said earlier, is because like if I'm in the business school, if there's like any like type of opportunity, like I feel like I have to go for it, else I'm like missing out. So I just kept like, I don't know, I got really deep into it, and now I'm like, okay, well, I'm not getting out of this now. Like now I'm just excited about business. So
well, entrepreneurship's kind of a good thing for someone that has as many different talents and interests, because it can be applied in so many
and you
ways.
can combine it with different things. And like I have, you know, I found that I'm super interested in computer science, and if part of starting like certain businesses is like you need coding skills, or you need to understand that area. So I'm really happy that, because even with my business, I will eventually have to have like a developer create an application, but I want to know like the steps behind it and how they're doing it, at least like a broad summary of it.
Oh, that's great. It definitely relates, you know, so it's how I've had to, you know, learn that along the way as well. Finding that in between the business skills and the technical skills, and being able to talk to everyone about them. So what do you think, you know, I realize you're going to be mostly going through your sophomore year of undergrad, but what does the next year for NoteShift, what do you think it looks like?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, currently I'm working on the website. I want to have that completely finished, and I would like to start selling by, you know, summer, like the actual journals. I think it's going to be a process of just creating like revenue in the beginning, because it's going to be really scrappy, like the whole website, how I'm binding the books, all of that. So I'm hoping for next year to really like refine it and to get those funds so I can start, creating the app and creating like at least a more official looking website and official looking journals.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. I'll definitely look for that, and I'd love to try it
Yay.
out. So I guess on one last note, have you heard about PitchStream coming up?
Yeah, I have. I'm definitely doing it.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Awesome. PitchStream applications just went live, I guess, yesterday, or I guess they went live on Monday. So applications are open. They are due on March 28th, and anyone who's been accepted will find out on March 31st. And there's a whole month of optional mentoring to get help with your executive summary and your pitch before the big final presentations on May 4th, which will be at Fifth Street Market this year, which should be exciting. It's open to the public. It's free. You just have to register for a ticket for the May 4th event, and there will be appetizers and drinks provided. So I'm sure it's going to be a fun time, and I will look forward to seeing you take a check home this time.
That's so exciting. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Julia. Thanks for chatting with us today.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll stay tuned next month for the April Fireside. We'll announce who it will be soon. Thanks, everyone.